And yes, we are back. My roommates are doing some work in the part over there, so you might hear some drilling, some noise, but we still gonna watch this video together because I'm here to just bring back the spirit of like watching videos. What people you enjoy. That's all. I mean, that's all YouTube really is about, right? You just watch videos. Just watch videos. You just watch videos about stuff you enjoy. So if you enjoy this, watch it with me, or you can watch it with someone else. You can watch it, whatever. But we're watching it with me. Let's watch it. 10 best new games to play in March 2023. I like the February edition of this video. I did check out most of the games. I played Returnal. Returnal was eh. Returnal was kind of eh. So, I was gonna do a review about that, but then I was like, does anyone really care about a Returnal review? I don't know. It's still there. I don't know. Maybe. And there was the Monster Hunter like game. I guess that game was okay. $70, it was just a little bit too much. I'm not big on $70 purchases anymore. So like you really would have to sell me a game if $70 day one. Some other games I wasn't too thrilled about, but it was nice to see those games, and then I saw headlines about those games and stuff. I think Hogwarts Legacy was in that last one too, so let's see what this one has in store for us. Audio issue. Hold on. Hold on. Let's go.
It's that time once again where we take a peek at some of the upcoming new releases. I've gone through and put together a list what I think are the best looking new games that are launching this.
Plus, I like this guy's format. I just kind of like it. It feels very like I was streaming the other few days, and we were watching Attack of the Show, and it reminded me why I like Attack of the Show. It's just coordinated content about games, and I like this guy's coordinated content, his formats.
Month in March 2023. There's a few on here I'm super pumped for, but just in general, I think these all look pretty solid. So let's jump in, starting out with the best stuff and going in order of release date. Okay, so first up this month is Wo Long Fallen Dynasty.
I think this game is already out.
Fantasy Souls-like action RPG being developed by
Dang.
Team Ninja. This is the same studio that made Nioh, which is a fairly well-regarded Souls-like series, and as such, there is quite some anticipation.
So I played Neo. Neo's my thing with Neo is it was like it has so many mechanics, and the tutorial was just kind of like long-winded. It felt long-winded on top of a lot of mechanics, and I felt like it just kind of was like, I don't know. It's like there was no build up to the mechanics. Like if they would have just, I don't know. For me, I just didn't like that format. I played like two bosses, and I was like, yeah, nothing's really compelling me to keep going. But it did feel fun. Just something was not there for me to finish. Maybe I don't know. I don't know what it was.
Anticipation for this upcoming game of theirs. So Fallen Dynasty is set during 184 AD during the collapse of a long-standing imperial dynasty. You play as some nameless soldier fighting for survival, fending off deadly creatures, and militia using martial arts-inspired attacks and weaponry. So it'll have much of what you expect from any Souls-like melee-focused action combat. There's a bonfire-like save system that respawns enemies, and an array of different weapons and unique playstyles with plenty of big, over-the-top boss battles. Some of the major differences that set this game apart from some of its contemporaries include an emphasis on exploration, with you claiming areas of the world by planting these flags, and how that also plays into this rather unique combat and progression.
That's kind of cool.
So the game has what is called a morale ranking system.
Jeez.
The higher your morale, the stronger you become. It's basically like a passive buff to your character's power as it relates to others, because both you and every enemy in the game have a morale level that will fluctuate. Whenever you kill an enemy, they will lose some morale, and then that level will stay consistent
Set them on
throughout
fire.
the world respawns. So for example, if you keep going back to campfires and resetting the world, respawning enemies, and fighting the same ones over and over again, their morale will continue to drop, and eventually you'll stop getting benefits from farming them. This basically acts as a way to combat the farming of easy to kill enemies to power yourself up. Wo Long Fallen Dynasty also emphasizes exploring with the ability of being able to double jump and move around freely within the world, which you'll want to do as you have this whole flag system of going out trying to find these flags, their battle and marking flags, and claiming these grant boost to your character's fortitude, which basically acts as a floor of your morale rank.
After having played, Elden Ring, I think something that as of watching this, I don't like how like cluttered it feels, but it feels open world. Like, you know what I mean? It's like it's open world, but having like these tight
Boost to your
spaces
character's
like this, I don't like spaces like this. Like it because they are so reoccurring and often, and it doesn't really make the game feel like it's open world. What I liked about Elden Ring is the point of view you could see at mostly majority of the game. You can see well beyond your normal reach, but everything felt like it was still connected.
fortitude, which basically acts as a floor of your morale ranking, preventing it from
I
dropping
don't know.
below a certain point. There's also a parry system where you're able to deflect most attacks in the game, including those from large bosses. There are companions that you will
Boo boo.
unlock to have fight by your side, and there's going to be 13 weapons that you can hold 2 at any given time, with special martial arts inspired attacks called these wizardry spells, like elemental abilities. I think the game looks pretty interesting, and again, it is from a developer whose past work is fairly well regarded. Definitely going to be one to keep an eye on. I also know that they released a demo, so if you wanted to try it out before you bought it, there's one available on Steam.
Dang, there's a demo?
Fallen Dynasty is releasing on March 3rd for PC, PlayStation, and Xbox. And
Maybe
we
I should try it
continue
out.
with the rest of this
Demo.
month's list, let's get a quick word from today's sponsor. Today's video is sponsored by Clash of Clans. You've no doubt heard of this before. It's been around for quite some time. This is the mobile game where you are tasked with building a village using the resources gained from attacking other players' villages. So you start with nothing, you build a beginner base, you raise a
Bless people who actually play these games, because I'm not gonna lie, I just want to be always honest with y'all. I used to kind of like look down on people who played mobile games. In a way, I was like, oh, these guys are just, you have to be a mindless zombie to like play a game like this for hours and hours and then. But that's not the right way to think about it. Like I used to do it in a very superior gamer way. Not that I thought I was a better person. I just thought that they were just, stupid for playing a mobile game. And I've learned that everyone wants just to play. Everyone likes to play games. Everyone wants to see numbers go up. People just find things fun in different ways. And it's not, I shouldn't judge people for playing something like this.
clan, and then you compete.
I personally wouldn't play anything like this. And if I could stop someone from playing something like this, I would try my hardest. Like, listen, there's games on Steam way better than Clash of Clans, bro. Like, come on.
In clan wars, which then gives you what you need
I'm
to
just
build
saying.
a larger army.
I'm just saying.
The game's been updated over the years and has gotten some new features, including the graveyard spell that lets you create chaos and destruction in enemy districts. There are 2 new unique defenses, the mini minion hive and the reflector. You can customize your very own player house and earn trophies in clan leagues, and loads of other stuff, including the exclusive
reflector
and an upgrade to the shovel of obstacles.
The
Clans let you compete in clan wars as a team against millions of active players. The game's got an average score of 4.6 stars with over 60 million reviews.
Why would you?
So if you're interested in checking out Clans,
The reflector. So funny.
All right, so next up on this month's list is Have a Nice Death. This is a hand-drawn 2D action roguelite where you play as Death, the founder and CEO of Death Incorporated.
Hey,
South at
deadbeats.
the job, and you need to go around the office keeping all of your subordinates in check. So the game features 7 procedurally generated departments, each with unique visuals, layouts, mechanics, and enemies, as well as a final boss. It's got fast-paced hack and slash combat with over 70 unique weapons and spells to find an upgrade. And
70.
after each run, you will unlock items and upgrades that you then carry with you into future runs to help make progression easier. There's this curse system where you select from various boons that also have some sort of a negative associated with it, like enhancing enemy powers or making yourself weaker. And then beyond the standard progression of moving through the various 7 levels.
Why did who thought to make the boons do a positive and a negative was a good idea? I don't understand. Where does that come from? Hades has that system, and there is, to my knowledge, there is no downsides to getting the boons. Even I think in Slay the Spire might maybe Slay the Spire inspired it, but it's like, why not just have a good something that to like modify something specifically to make you actually want to pick it without the negative effect? What's up with the negative effects? Like, bro, why? I don't understand that design.
There are special challenges and difficulty modes with unique
And I would even go like, okay, if you get this, it makes things harder. I'm okay with that. But a negative effect is just like, I cannot get behind that.
modifiers. So I really like how this game looks. I think it's got really great looking animations and enemy design. And I actually played quite a bit of it last year when it first entered early access. I thought it was fun, albeit a little short at the time. It does seem like they've added quite a lot more from when I played. And the most important thing, the combat was really, really snappy, felt really good to play. I also enjoyed the progression system of going through, unlocking new stuff, and getting more powerful as many roguelites are structured. So the game entered Steam Early Access in March of 2022. It still to this day has very positive reviews, and after a full year of updates, they will be officially releasing into 1.0 with the full launch, which includes a bunch of new features, weapons, levels, and upgrades. When I played it, I really liked it. It seems like the game has just gotten better since then. Have a Nice Death officially launches on March 22nd for PC and Nintendo Switch. Resident Evil 4 is getting a full from the ground up remake.
I might look at that
this month. This comes with not only enhanced visuals, but also revamped systems and new gameplay features and mechanics. Most of the story and the base gameplay are set to be intact. The game will feature the same over-the-shoulder third-person camera perspective, while also drawing from other improvements and modernizations to the gameplay that we saw with the likes of the remakes of Resident Evil 2 and 3. Some of the new stuff includes multiple new enemy types. There are new stealth mechanics, a parry system, like you can deflect chainsaw attacks, among other things. There will be new weapons and upgrades, like there's a
so all these games are parrying.
Crafting got an overhaul and will also play a much bigger role than it did in the original. There are new side quests that will vary from fetch quests to puzzle solving to taking out certain targets. They've removed most of the game's QuickTime events. Love to see it. Worst part I've ever seen in gaming. They've added numerous companion improvements to just make the AI smarter.
He had to duck.
And also there are
that was kind of cool. If that wasn't planned and you just have to duck to avoid certain attacks coming in this direction, that's kind of cool. I like that.
Numerous companion improvements to just make the AI smarter and more capable. And then also there are 6 optional control schemes, including one stylized after the original game's controls. So yeah, lots of new stuff, but at the same time, according to some early hands-on playtests, this is a much more faithful remake compared to the ones of RE2 and 3, with some of the scenes and parts of the games being almost direct recreations. And Capcom has also stated that the RE4 remake will be roughly the same length as the original. Resident Evil 4 remake will be launching on March 24th, coming to PC, PlayStation, and Xbox. And there is yet another remake after 10 long years. The Last of Us is finally making its way over to PC. This remaster, which first launched on PlayStation consoles last September, comes with a full revamp of the game's visuals.
I say, are you serious in the bad way? Like, what's up with The Last of Us being remastered, revamped, re-released, redid? Like, you guys couldn't have done anything else. Why not? Like, why not make a new game? Why not The First of Us? Come on, man.
Audio as well as some tweaks to things like AI. Although these systems and mechanics are largely untouched, this is most certainly the best looking version of the game, and again, the first time the franchise has been ever playable on PC. They've also done things like improve the controls and accessibility options. They made improvements to animations, and while staying true to the original, have also completely revamped the visual and audio elements of the game. And lastly, the remaster includes the complete Last of Us single-player story, along with the prequel chapter left behind. Now, one very notable exclusion, though, with this remaster is the factions multiplayer. That was in the original game and is not here. This was also a complaint that I had about the remaster when it first came to PlayStation console last year. It feels even more stark here because, at least for console players, there exists a version of The Last of Us that does include multiplayer that they could enjoy, but for anyone on PC, no such version of the game exists for us to check out. Now, there's a reason for them excluding the factions multiplayer. Mainly it stems from the fact that they are making a standalone multiplayer game. It'll be coming, I don't know, sometime within the next few years. players. I get the business
Of
reasons
course.
why they
Why
wouldn't want to
not?
release
Why not?
this, but I
Of
do
course.
still think it's a bit rubbish. I
Can't
wish
wait for
this
the battle
remaster
pass. Why not,
included
bro?
factions, especially now that this is coming to PC, and I think this just detracts from what is otherwise an easy recommendation. The Last of Us Part 1 will be coming to PC via Steam on March 28th. Next up is probably the game that I think looks the most interesting that's coming out this month. It's called Ravenbound. This is
This is the open world ARPG that has like AI, the enemies. I personally, if I had to pick a game to play, it would be Ravenbound.
open world action roguelite set in a fantasy realm inspired by Swedish folklore. I really like the setting. I think the combat looks solid as well, especially for a game from a mid-sized studio. And I love the idea of mixing open world gameplay with rogue elements. I find that quite interesting. So the general loop of the game is going to be like this. You will start out with your first character. It is randomly generated in terms of its appearance and stats. And then you spawn into this room of doors, from which you will only be able to open one. Doing so will propel you out into the world, where you will fly around as a raven, picking where you want to land and begin fighting and start your adventure.
Some Fortnite type vibe.
Taking out various camps of enemies, which will reward you with cards that act as your upgrades and enhancements, empowering your weapons, giving you access to new gear, and unleashing new powers and capabilities. And then you keep going between camps, fighting enemies, powering up by getting these cards, while also searching for that region's 3 tomb keys. Once you have all 3 and you feel like you're strong enough, you can then go unlock that area's final boss battle. Defeating the boss brings you back to the room of doors, now with access to the second zone. Rinse and repeat, you continue your progression through the game. Now, being a roguelite, this is going to be fairly difficult, and managing your health in combat is a primary goal. Like with a lot of these games, you are expected to die. You will die, and when you do, you will respawn back in the room of doors, selecting
Slip
from
and
3
slide.
randomly generated new characters, and then you will head back out on your journey to try again, do that over and over and over. And the overarching
slip and
progression
slide.
powers that you
That's so
unlock,
funny.
which you will then carry with you in your runs.
It looks
Like
so
I said,
good.
I think the combat looks good. It's action combat, fairly snappy, with a lot of dashing and dodging,
slip and
light
slide for
heavy
real.
attacks, special abilities, parrying and blocks.
Can't wait.
Open world, you will move through, and as you start out, you're flying up above, and there's actually icons that show you, hey, what type of enemies are here and what is their difficulty level based on this 5-star system. And this lets you pick and choose your battles, so you can go for harder fights that yield better rewards, but it's more dangerous. And again, if you lose health, that's a pretty big deal, because managing your health is of the utmost importance. Or you can just take on some easy fights and try to conserve your health, but then also you won't be getting as good rewards, so you won't be getting as strong as quickly. Beyond the various enemy camps,
And I believe that's how it should just be. I think in roguelikes, you should just be able to choose how difficult you want your journey to be, and you can just gauge that all the way up until a certain point where you hit a boss, and the boss should just be it should be set a certain standard for how good you have to be, or how strong you have to be, or whatever. Or it should be a test. I feel like boss rooms should be a testament to how strong your build is, how good you're building so far, so on and so forth. Just random. Like obviously that's how they have different bosses, right? And I think that's what Hades got that really well, like just really well. And I think that's how it should be. Not this, you get this, but you lose effects, and you could have this, but it could make the run harder. Like, dude, let me just get stronger at my own pace and clear the content. Done. That's why I did not like Returnal, because all of the power-ups that you don't purchase, so all the ones that you randomly find as drops, oftentimes come with like this weird ass negative effect that can just doom the run.
that are scattered throughout the open
Ridiculous.
world. You'll also find things like these raven platforms, which is what you use to enter into flight form. There will be various different points of interest and places to discover, and every single zone will have a town where you can go to stock up on gear, potions, side quests, and all of this in service of
Side
powering
quests.
yourself up and getting those 3 keys to fight the first zone's boss, and then continuing to progress through the additional zones in the game. I think this game looks pretty interesting. I like the combination of elements. Ravenbound will be launching on March 30th, coming to PC.
Damn.
Steam.
end of the
Tainted
month.
Grail: The Fall of Avalon. This is a dark fantasy open-world RPG that is said to be full of quests, loot, choices, and monsters, all set on a bleak island on the verge of ruin. Now, as the name entails, this is a new game in the Tainted Grail series, which is all based off of a popular tabletop game. I've actually played a few Tainted Grail games in the past, and they were all kind of weird and a bit janky, but also really cool and a bit charming. Some of the features include an open world. You can travel anywhere, coming across unexpected quests and adventures as you explore through hidden caves, dungeons, and ancient ruins. You will get to experience the dark world of Tainted Grail, full of mysteries and complex stories that stretch back over 1,000 years.
If you want to know one thing about me, I am not a big fan on that point of view. That's probably why I never could really get into Fallout and BioShock. It's just that point of view feels so limiting.
Complex stories,
even though it's probably not. I never really enjoyed games with that
with multiple
first person.
options. You can strike from the shadows, use bows and daggers, fight face to face with cold steel, or activate the forbidden rites of the druids, which is sort of some like light, almost low fantasy magic that the game has. There is a stealth system with critical hits, various bow and dagger attacks. You also have access to things like swords and axes, maces. There's dodging.
It's like some Skyrim type. Like I've never tried it as an adult, but we'll see. I mean,
it's got dialogue trees, so you'll talk with NPCs, and depending on the
if given the opportunity, I'd try it. That's all I can say.
branches that you choose, this will lead to different objectives. Like there'll be some quests that are locked behind various proficiency systems as well. And the gameplay, from what we've seen, it kind of looks like a rougher version of Skyrim. Like you're walking around first person, you're picking up stuff and interacting with things. Maybe you'll search a body and you'll find some note with some story behind.
I was gonna say that animation just looked, but it does say pre-alpha footage. So, so I guess it's not really fair criticism.
And then you can loot that body for different things and interact with like crates and boxes. It feels like almost like a jankier, kind of darker, grittier version of Skyrim. And I think it looks pretty interesting if you have any stomach for rougher combat, kind of jankier looking systems. This does seem like it might be an interesting romp. Tainted Grail: Fall of Avalon will be launching on March 30th and is coming to PC via Steam. Next up, we've got System Shock. It is getting a fully fledged remake of the critically acclaimed original from 1994. They've taken the core gameplay, added a whole bunch of new updated visuals, controls, as well as overhauled interface and all new sounds and music. It has the original voice actor of the game's iconic villain, and System Shock back in the day, mid-90s when it came out, was a pretty big deal. I remember that
Never heard of System Shock.
There being a lot of buzz, and this is also a game that directly inspired a lot of great games that came after it. So you play as a hacker on Citadel Station. After going through some sort of surgery to get this neuro implant, you wake up from a coma after 6 months and find that the station is overrun with deadly AI. The game really plays like almost like a modern survival horror game, akin to something like Resident Evil. You'll have to try to be conservative with your ammo. You'll go around looting, doing inventory management, solving puzzles as you navigate through the station and encounter the various enemies. And enemy types range from things like cyborgs and robots to mutated humanoids, scorpions with flamethrower tails, and all sorts of other weird amalgamations. Some main features include the ability to improve and adapt your skills, a non-linear story that unfolds at your own pace, and the ability to hack into areas to open alternative progression routes. The System Shock remake launches at some point in March. As of this recording, there is no set date, but I'm going to assume maybe sometime towards the end of the month. Okay, so those are the 7 main best looking games that I think are launching in March. Now let's get some honorable mentions here. First up is Clash: Artifacts of Chaos. This is a melee focused martial arts action game set in a very strange world. I played the original in this franchise and it was super odd, like a really unique setting and characters designs and combat. Now most melee action games are about like swinging weapons, right? But this one is focused entirely on punching and kicking. And I also recall the original being in first person.
It looks like it could have been like Borderlands, but they wanted to, I don't know. I'm not sure. Like the anatomy on this guy is super weird. I hope. See, my things with this is, sorry, let me rephrase that. When playing a game like this, I kind of want I want there to be something likable about the character. how he looks, how he sounds, or how she sounds, or what they do. And the game looks kind of jank. I guess that's probably on purpose. So you have like this worm dude with this like 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 this guy is shaped like the end of a banana peel, but he has like pencil arms. Like it's just kind of like just doesn't do it for me.
Here, like in this latest entry, you can play in third person as well. So you're going to attack, dodge,
Oh, that was a skin. Never mind.
stun, block, parry, and then land these special attacks.
Okay, it was just a skin.
You can, in this game, switch to first-person view to perform these unique
Because that was not doing it for me. I promise that was not doing it for me.
technical attacks.
But he still has like the worm head.
You can, in this game, switch to first-person view to perform these unique technical attacks. You'll learn different styles of martial arts, which you will then alternate freely between based on the situation and the type of enemies that you're fighting. And it also has this dice game where before engaging in a fight with an enemy, you can challenge them to a game of dice, and then whoever wins that mini game can get some sort of advantage, like summoning up monsters as an ally or covering the area in fog. Really interesting, really unique.
That boy is ready to fight.
Artifacts of Chaos launches on March the 9th. Fatal Frame Mask of the Lunar Eclipse is a remake of the original that launched in Japan in 2008. This is a spooky, narrative-driven anime horror game. A group of children mysteriously disappeared during the festival, and they were found, but they had completely lost their memories. Now they return to the island as teenagers to try to figure out what happens. Turns out it was something spooky. As expected,
it was something spooky.
Enhanced visuals. They've improved the in-game graphics, movies, and character models with more realistic shadows and lighting. They've got this new snap mode where you can pose characters and ghost freely to create these haunting memories. And then new costumes. They say the original costume lineup has been altered slightly and new costumes added. Change the characters' costumes to experience the investigation in different ways. All right, whatever. Fatal Frame Mask of the Lunar Eclipse launches on March the 9th. Bleak Faith Forsaken is a...
What did it say? The protagonist of a horror game is bound to do things that he or she should never do. So it breaks the fourth wall.
Frame Mask of the Lunar Eclipse launches on March the 9th. Bleak Faith Forsaken is a third-person action combat game from Archangel Studios, a team of 2 people. Here is a great showcase of what we should expect to start seeing a lot more of going forward, with these very tiny teams making games with fairly impressive visuals and animations. All of this thanks to just how good game development tools have become over time. This game features an open world and exploration. You'll run, climb, and leap to ascend various parts of the environment. They say it's got hardcore combat where positioning, timing, and resource management are key. There will be epic boss fights and an RPG progression system. Bleak Faith Forsaken launches on March the 10th. And with that, we will wrap up this month's list. Thank you as always for watching. Hopefully you found something on the list coming out in March that you are looking forward to. Again, I am in particular really keen to check out Ravenbound. I think this is really, I like roguelike games. I like the progression of a really difficult game where you die often and then reset from the start, but then you carry some stuff with you, not only the knowledge of, you know, what you learned from playing, but also progression through some sort of an account-wide progression system where in this case, it is that card system. Mixing that roguelike element with an action game that's also open world, I think that's a pretty cool sounding combo. I think it looks good, especially for a mid-sized game. This is the one that I'm most keen on checking out this month. But that does it for me. Thank you, as always, for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video. I'll see you guys in the next one.
I did enjoy the video. Thank you. That was it. That was like I said, it's the presentation. It feels like you just are sitting down. You can just, you know, even if you don't always have time to play games, I think you can appreciate how far games have come. In my opinion, that's my opinion, and sharing that experience with people is kind of what games are about, in my opinion. So for me, I'm gonna pick 3 games I would play, and it would be Ravenbound. Have a Nice Death looked pretty nice. Not gonna lie, I think the graphics on this look pretty interesting. Obviously, not trying to be like Hollow Knight, trying to be its own thing, and I appreciate that. Has its own story. It looked like it has like a Hades type of story. You know, when you die, you got NPCs that interact with you, kind of fulfilled lore holes and stuff. So that's nice. At least that's what it looks like. So Have a Nice Death. Ravenbound, obviously, and if I had to pick, I mean, Wulong Fallen Dynasty didn't look bad, but if I had to pick between this one and the last one, this one, I would pick this one because I don't like games that have like I'm okay with parry, I'm okay with dodge, I'm okay with summoning, but certain games I just it's like it's at a point it's like I I would rather it's like certain like I don't know. It's hard to explain. Like when I play God of War's combos are different than Devil May Cry combos as far as like inputs go and how you get to them. And I cannot. That's why I don't play really God of War games because I don't like how the combos work as far as inputs go. It just feels very unnatural and clunky to me. Again, my preference, my experience. But yeah, good video. Liked it. Thank you. And yeah, that's it. You know the motto. If you did like a game or anything, uh, let me know if you have any thoughts or opinions. Again, I am gonna get Ravenbound 100%. These games all kind of come out at the end of the month. This comes out on the 10th, so maybe I'll get Black Faith Forsaken because it comes out on the 10th, and then play that, and that can hold me over until more stuff is out, and then Diablo 4 is also at the end of this month, so let's see how things go. Thanks for watching. I appreciate it. Tell someone you appreciate them. Tell someone you love them if you can. It's important if you can. And yeah, see you guys in the next video. Peace.